Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. Sitting here in studio with, of course, Director Mark, who we don't have a nickname for Mark just yet, but we got Party Foul Steve.
Hey.
Metro Jason just stepped out. Bougie Sean is here, and Brandon, he's hanging out with us as well. I got my special guest, legendary Fort Worth musician, singer-songwriter, Mr. Rob Redwine is in here. Good to see you, buddy.
You too, bud.
How you been?
I've been all right. I guess you could say that. So let me go ahead and tell you about my day today, right?
Yeah, let me have
so
it.
your limousine driver comes and picks me up, right? So I'm driving over here from Fort Worth in the limousine. I got all the champagne and the roses and all that stuff. I appreciate the roses. That was a nice touch, by the way.
Week, so
Very
yeah.
nice touch, by the way. Because I didn't have a Valentine's Day date, so it made up for it. Anyway, so I get here, and Steve meets me out in the parking lot, and he says, well, they're filming an episode right before this because apparently you film these all over the place, and then you carry on. So I said, wait, what? Filming? Okay, I didn't exactly wear my nice clothes. The good thing about that is, though, when you're a rock and roll star, it doesn't matter what you wear.
I mean, I just kind of expect, like, for every episode of the week, I've been wearing this Folds of Honor pullover right here. And so I've just been representing. And so I've kind of had this idea. I'm just going to wear this for everything that we do here.
Nice.
Just, that way there's no wardrobe
It brings
necessary.
out the beauty in your eyes.
I mean, this little camouflage, it brings out the patriotism in my complexion right here. I love it. So I love
Sizzling smile.
Folds of Honor. I don't know that we budgeted for the limo, so I don't know who picked you up, but I'm glad they got you to the right spot. But yeah,
Let me go
I'll
check care of
I'll give you all the champagne and roses you need. Rob Redwine. I mean, that is a great artistic name. Rob
God wanted me to be a musician for sure.
Redwine. Rob Redwine. I got to tell everybody, listen, if you're in the state of Texas, go to energyogre.com, save 60% on your power bill if you live in a deregulated area, and you probably do. Like if you're in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, some of those big metropolitan areas, good chance you're in a deregulated area. You need to go to energyogre.com and sign up. Just put in your zip code. They'll let you know if they can, one, service you, and then two, sounds funny, but it's true. Sounds funny, but it's true. But then if they can't save you money, they won't even let you sign up. So, hey, we save about $2,400 a year on our power bill. Jade and I do. Use promo code WATCHCHAD and sign up for it. It's the greatest thing in the state of Texas. I got the Redneck Riviera sitting over my shoulder. Rob's got, of course, the Studio 22 over his, and that's where we are sitting over here at Mercury One Studios. And I'm happy to have you on. I haven't seen you in a while. You and I have had some good times. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But we've also had some interesting times. And I know every time I'm around you, you get sick of telling this story, but tell them the night you almost died.
Okay.
Literally, I mean,
All
I want everybody in the studio as well as everybody listening to hear this story because this was this thing. I went to a Rob Redwine show at Lola's in Fort Worth, and all of a sudden, Rob wasn't on stage anymore. Tell them what happened.
Yeah. So, we had a 2-band big night at Lola's. I think it was a big night. I can't remember how many people were there. But had the full band going and all that stuff. The long story short is we were about 5 songs into the set, and I thought my microphone had gone out. And when you're on stage, you got monitors and everything else, and the band's playing around you and everything else. And so I thought just my monitor went out. I could hear everybody else, but I couldn't hear myself talk anymore. Turned around, my drummer's still drumming back behind me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I don't know. I think I'm fine. Anyway, so it turns out that my lead guitar player puts his guitar down. He walks over to me because apparently I was white as a ghost. And he checks my pulse. It's still right on stage. Everybody's like, "What's going on here?" And he goes, "I think you need to go to the hospital." I was like, "Okay." But I didn't actually say okay.
Yeah.
Still loud in there. I couldn't hear anything. I get off stage, and I'm trying to get out the door of the place. My ex-girlfriend at the time was behind me. And there's, a bunch of people in there trying to talk to me. I can't talk for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but I can't. The words are there, but they're not coming out.
Right.
And for somebody like me, that's a very hard thing, as it is for you.
Yeah.
So finally, we wheel over to the hospital, and they pulled me back into a room within like 2 minutes. They're like, "We think you had a stroke." And it turns out I had something called a TIA stroke or something like that, which affects either your speech, your hearing, something like that. So I had a stroke, and then subsequent open heart surgery for aortic stenosis, and now I have a mechanical heart valve. And good times.
That's been about, what, 5-6 years ago
4.
now? 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, because it was like everybody was like, "Did you hear what happened to Rob?" You know, they took Rob off, and because I looked at the stage, and all of a sudden, your guys were kind of filling in. You know, there was, and Rob was gone. I was like, "We came to Rob's show, and there's no Rob here."
Right.
And like he pulled a George Jones on us. He's gone, right? And so I'm like, well,
Tales from the tour
happened?
bus, baby.
And then all of a sudden, 30 days later, you're still in the hospital. I mean, you say it like, well, we had a heart stenosis and then all this stuff, mechanical heart and all that, but you were in the hospital a long time. I mean, there were a
month and a half,
prayers and cares going out for you, because it was a touch and go kind of thing, which is a scary deal. You know, I was in a show in Lubbock. I think I was in Lubbock, and I came out on stage, and all of a sudden, because I deal with these blood pressure issues, all of a sudden I got real lightheaded to the point where I was like, and I thought of you, because I was like, I'm going to have to leave the stage here in a second. I think I'm going to have to leave the stage. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to have to do that. I really don't want to have to do that. And I'm like, come on, man, it's your health.
Yeah.
And then finally I was able to kind of muscle through it, take some deep breaths, and just deal with it. But I mean, you had some stuff going on.
It's scary, man. It's scary.
Yeah. And
for sure.
It reminds you of your own mortality, which is
no doubt.
Crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. There were times in the hospital I was thinking about that and just how weird that is, especially I think I was 39 at the time.
Yeah.
It's
spooky.
Sometimes, I mean, you go through life and you don't even think about those things, and all of a sudden, you know, it happens.
And it's hard for men too, because like, I don't know how you are, but I'm one of those guys who I would just rather avoid going to the doctor if I could get away with it.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go just keep checking on myself. But you get to a point where you're like, you know, okay, my age, I probably should do what needs to be done to at least preventative care on things. But I mean, how do you know? Yeah. Did you have heart issues like your whole life and you didn't know about it?
No, I was born with aortic stenosis. I knew it was there, but I was running, back when I was like 10 years old, I was running a battery of tests. They would always have me on a treadmill and just checking things because there was some kind of weird murmur, click kind of thing in there. But my mom, who was taking me to all those things, passed away not long after that, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. I wasn't going anymore, forgot about it and all that stuff. They told me back then, but I mean, I was a kid, you know, that you're going to have surgery on this thing at some point. I didn't know it was like that, though. I mean, it was
at that
like,
point,
boom,
Yeah.
happened.
Hey, at least scars are sexy.
I think so.
Scars are sexy.
I think so, but they certainly weren't at the time they were pulling the tubes out. I'll tell you that much.
Last year, I had my first, coming up on a year, I had my first surgery ever. 45 years old. I'd never had a surgery before, and they cut my guts out and did all that stuff and put me all back together. And then 2 months after that, they put my arm back together. So I had a second surgery from, being a stupid man. But it's nowhere near but it reminds you of your own mortality, and you got one life and all that kind of stuff. And kind of like this whole living thing.
Yeah, I do too. At least for a little while longer.
I mean, I don't know what the options are, but right now I kind of enjoy this part of it. So, and I must love it because I spend all my life traveling around the country with Party Foul Steve, so I got to deal with him everywhere. And
somebody's got to watch after you.
Steve, you are living your best life right now. I mean, let's
absolutely
just
every day
be honest. You're living your best life.
Your hair is fantastic, by the way.
Isn't it amazing?
Thank you. Lye soap every day.
What is it?
Lye soap.
Are you serious?
Man soap.
What's man soap?
Is that like lava?
My wife uses.
Mane and tail horse shampoo.
I use girl shampoo and conditioner. Thank you.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Bougie Sean.
What
kind of shampoo do you use, Sean?
So right now, I'm going through Go 24/7. I think it's like.
Oh, you know the names and stuff.
Yeah, because there was a point like I have a lot of hair, but I feel that I'm kind of receding a little bit, so I got a little paranoid. I don't want to be like George Jefferson with that that spot right there. So I started.
Well, beans don't burn in the kitchen.
So I got thickening shampoo. My wife said that's the worst thing for me to get for my head, but that's what I've been using It's okay.
Yeah, you don't want to get that Krusty the Clown recession.
What are you
going
using on the beard?
Oh, I use Texas Cowboy beard oil.
All right.
Yeah, that's what we were talking
Got it from
about.
the Dallas Farmers
I'm
Market.
pimping beard oils right now, so
Yeah,
talk to you
there's a
later.
lady who's in the Dallas Farmers Market. That's what Jason. He had a body butter, and he kept bragging about the body butter. If you didn't listen to other podcasts, he loves his body butter. So we went out there as a group, and I sorted beard oil, and it smells great. You can smell my beard if you want to. It smells really good, but it's Texas beard oil. I'm walking over,
good.
as a matter of fact.
It smells good. It smells good.
smell it.
Get a whiff of it. That's like 80s porn right there.
that's
That looked like
great.
80s porn with that big old beard.
Yeah.
That was
It's nice. I like it.
great.
Yeah.
that's so funny.
It's a nice
We
lady.
went out there as a group to shop for beard oils. It was like a boys' night out. We used to go to the club. Now we go to the farmers market.
The mall.
to get
Metrosexual adventure.
Go get some
Four dudes at the
beard
mall.
oil. Tomorrow we're going to Candles Plus.
No, we went
Sam's.
we went to a brunch event that had free alcohol. That's why we went. But we just stumbled upon the beard oil.
Free alcohol. Well, I'm down for that.
Yeah, it was a good little
We're
event.
going to Sam Goody's tomorrow to pick out nose rings. Y'all are funny, man. It was a boys' night out. Boys' night out. We went to Bed Bath & Beyond. Bath and Body
Hey,
Works. That's what
there's
I'm trying
nothing
to
wrong
think
with
of.
that, man.
There ain't nothing wrong with
They
it,
even
man.
had that in
I
that
tell
old
guys,
movie, old
get-
school.
Yeah, get in touch with your sensitive side. Why not, I know.
Edit. My central joys are burning.
Are they?
Of course they are.
So
Sounds weird.
So our friend Melody Villard, who is listening to this episode because she listens to all of them, they are our friends in Craig, Colorado. So they have one of the biggest sheep ranch operations in America. They were her and her husband Albert. She's probably been, I don't know, God, to what, a dozen shows. I mean, I'm like, do you not ever get tired? She's like, well, it's the after party we like. We could care less about the show.
Right,
we just
right.
like to come to the after party. But they were featured on an episode of Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. Their thing was, and they were talking about castrating the sheep, and that was when they showed Mike how to bite the testicles off of the sheep, and so they had Mike bite them off and whatever. And we're gonna go out there. Steve is dying to bite some balls off some sheep. And so,
I'm ready to do it.
yeah, they got great elk hunting
party
out
with
there
you,
and
man.
stuff. It's just gorgeous country out there. So we're probably going to be back out there this year. But anyway, so she's into the doTERRA, the essential oils and stuff like that, and she'll bring me, like, technically I belong to that thing, and just to be a part of her thing to help her, and so I build up all this credit, and so she sends me. She's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "I don't really even know what it is. Like, I don't know what it is." And I guess I'm a doTERRA rep. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what it is. So she'll send me these little beads of oil and stuff to do, I don't know, like for breath and I don't know. You got one that'll get me high? Do you have any doTERRA CBD, THC, anything like that you can send me from Colorado? Like that I can get into. That I'm fired up about. Like I'll do the research on that stuff. Mark, you missed it, man. We were in Colorado. No, we weren't. We were in Las Vegas. What am I thinking of? We were in Colorado. You weren't.
I wasn't in Colorado.
We weren't in Colorado. Party Foul and I were in Colorado. Mark, but we went to the world's largest. Let me tell you this, Rob. We went to. I'm talking to both of you guys. Okay, I can't look out of both sides of my head. I just talk out of both sides of my mouth.
I've seen it before.
Yes. So we go to the world's largest dispensary in Vegas, Planet 13.
Yep.
And we're going to feature it on an episode of Humor Me, which you can get on blazetv.com/Chad. Just use promo code Chad. They got 45,000 square feet of dispensary. They're about to be 145,000 square feet. Like this is what it looks like when you make so much money you don't know what to do with your money. Like they have sky shows in the building with drones, big balls drones that turn colors, and 3D light shows and stuff. And I mean, they're just selling weed. I mean, they're selling, so I don't do
They're
the
selling
stuff.
happiness is what
I don't
they're
do the
selling.
stuff, but $1,000 later as we were leaving. It's basically the truth. Because I was like, okay, boys, y'all get all the healthy stuff y'all can get, and I'll buy it for you.
It was all CBD
and these guys
stuff.
are like, we need this oil for relaxing, and this oil to focus, and this oil to sleep, and this oil to, to get horny, and this oil to make the girls horny. And I mean,
It's probably all exactly the same stuff.
It's all the same stuff. CBD forever. Gave me diarrhea. I did the oils that gave me diarrhea. I don't know. I got diarrhea after that. It could be the oils. I blame it. But anyway. So anyway, like marijuana it's never been. I've done marijuana. But it's just never been my drug of choice. Are you a partaker in that? Or you care about it at all?
Is this live?
No, it doesn't have to be. You don't even have to answer the question.
No, absolutely. I'm a musician. Of course we have. We all have. I assume we all have.
Of course. I believe everybody has a drug of choice. Mm-hmm. I'm very honest about it.
That's the only thing I can actually do with all the heart
stuff
medications.
Going on, yeah. I believe I got people who swear by the health benefits of the CBD stuff and all that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, makes sense to me.
Yep.
It makes sense to me. I don't care. I'm libertarian enough. I don't care what people do. Just don't try to force it down my throat. But hey, to each their own. If you got your drug of choice, and if that makes people, I think everybody's got their drug of choice. I'm holding mine right here.
Oh yeah.
That's the beauty of it, and people can get mad about that. Jesus did it. I'm doing it too. So,
well, your limo driver's out front. We'll just go get in a limo and we're gone.
The limo all lined up with all the latest essential oils and CBD. Light a candle. We need to light some candles. My wife does those candle things where you turn the thing on and it heats it up and it melts and whatever that crap is. Scentsy. It's stinksy. To me, I can't do the Scentsy stuff, man. It's too I can't.
Isn't that a heroin spoon?
Like my wife, she wants to do like Febreze. She'll something. If the dog pisses in the house or whatever, she'll come out and do the Febreze, and it's just a. Psst. That's to me. That's enough Febreze. Not her, man. You can't walk. It's like fumigating the house. You can't walk in there. Here we use the microphone, Brandon. He got fired up. He had to speak out. What?
Yeah, we got the 13-year-old there.
Go ahead. Bring it on. What you got?
She uses the Lysol on the floor. That's what gets me. The Febreze I can care less about, but the Lysol, she uses that stuff like she's trying to make another carpet, like another coat. Like she's trying to make she's trying to make a coat of the floor. I'm like, just like a couple of sprays and you're good. And then she coats it with the Febreze. And I'm like, okay, I'm dying now. I gotta breathe at some point.
Yeah, I can't stand it. It to me, I just can't stand it. So, and I don't understand that Lysol, that the 99.99% of all germs gets. It's that
What's that
0.01 that's gonna get you. That's the one. That's the one that's gonna put you in the hospital while you're playing with Lolas. Yeah,
the flu virus.
The whole deal. All right, let's go back to Rob. So, Rob, enough of this nonsense. I want us to get serious for a minute. You remember that time we were in Vegas and we had...
Man, I was just waiting for this story to come up, man. I was just waiting for it.
Rob I was staying, this was a couple years ago, I was staying at the MGM Grand at the Signature Suites, and you were going to be coming over, and you were staying there too, weren't you?
No, I was the Golden Nugget.
You were the Golden Nugget. You were downtown.
I was downtown, yeah.
You're downtown with the,
Well, yeah, I got to, I'm not riding so high society as you are.
I was staying there for free, don't get me wrong. But that was a week I had to be there 13 straight days, so I was, yeah. But, Vegas on a budget can be done. You can stay in places for like $13 a night. It's crazy. They get the money other ways. But so anyway, I was like, yeah, you're getting off the plane. You came in, and I was walking across the crowded lobby there, and here you come across the crowded lobby. And we just ran into each other. I knew you were coming. We were going to get together that night, but in the middle of Vegas, in the middle of a crowd, here's the guy that I was going to meet up with later on. Here you come walking.
This was when the rodeo was going on, and there was just a sea of cowboy hats everywhere throughout this casino.
Yeah, just randomly gobs of people there. And so I said, hey, I'm going down to Brad Garrett's comedy club down there in the bottom part of MGM Grand, and our buddy Cowboy Bill Martin was going to be doing a show down there. I said, let's go down there and hang. Their show's probably getting over with. They kind of want an after party tonight. And so Brad, who everybody knows from playing Robbie on Everybody Loves Raymond, which is one of the biggest surprises of all time, because anybody that ever sees Brad Garrett's comedy, they realize he's not really Robbie.
Right.
He is one of the greatest insult comics in history. I mean, he is Don Rickles incarnate. I mean, he really is. I mean, he will call you out. Funny guy, sweetheart of a man. Anyway, so we said we're gonna go down, hang out. So we did. He likes to go over to New York, which
Yep.
is across the street. He can take like a tunnel over there.
Yeah.
And so we get over to the Irish pub over there, and what a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a crazy night, dude.
Yeah.
That was one of those, because we go over there, and he has this spread of food. Brad already had like every appetizer the place offered. And so here's
it looked
me,
like the 12 people at the Last Supper. It really did.
Supper at the Irish pub in New York. But we did. We had a blast. We sat over there. We drank. We spilled drinks. We drank more. We spilled more drinks. We ate fried pickles and chicken fingers, and then we went out and gambled. And all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My life, it was, and Brad picked up the whole bill. I mean, he was like, we were his guests.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was one of those things that reminded us, like, I want to be like that. I just want to be gracious to people and take care of them and have fun. And do you still go out there, though, for?
Yes.
Yeah, you playing out there a bunch?
34th time out there, actually. But before we get there, though, let me tell my version of that story.
I want to hear
this
that.
This is the way I tell that story. So, I'm getting off the plane. My phone's blowing up from you. Get over here. I'm like, I got to take a cab down to Golden Nugget and drop my bag off and all that stuff. So I did. Got back to MGM. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night or something like that, I think. Somewhere around there.
Yep.
So you and Jade come walking down the stairs of right there in the middle of the casino. I think that's what happened. Maybe I'm thinking of the Titanic and all that stuff. And the grand staircase and all that stuff. And you come right up to me, and all of a sudden we see each other, right? So we turn and we're starting to walk back toward this hallway. And I noticed that there's 3 very large black individuals in suits that are your security. And I'm like, are we okay right now? We're good? And you're like, yeah, man, we're good. So one of them swipes a badge to this door that goes down this hallway. And we roll back into the green room, which is right beside Brad's studio, or the theater, I should say. Yeah. And what's his name? The other comedian,
Bill? Oh, Quinn.
Hilarious dude. He was in there. He had me rolling on the floor for a while.
Quinn's awesome.
Yeah. Great guy. So anyway, there's another security guard that comes in and says, "Hey, Brad's over at New York, and we're gonna take y'all over there and everything else." So we go down this tunnel. I think we went down that tunnel. Maybe we just walked across the street. I can't remember. But I like to say we walked down this tunnel.
That's very secretive.
So this is where I embellish a lot. Yeah. Sinatra used this tunnel all the time.
Sinatra were
Elvis
still down
used
there.
this tunnel all the time and
Catacombs.
everything. Yeah. So we get over to we get inside the casino and walk over to Nine Fine Irishman. There's a line of people that were out the door to get into Nine Fine Irishman. I think that's right.
It was a lot.
But we get to go through the red ropes and all that stuff. Now here's another embellishment of mine right here that I like to say, because now we've got 4 security guards around us and they're all walking us through this thing.
That is not much of an embellishment.
Right.
That's pretty much the truth.
But all the people in the crowd start going, "Who are you, man?"
Yeah.
And I just turn around and say, "I'm Rob, man." And then I carry on. This is my true celebrity of the night right here. Sure enough, we did sit down at this long table. There was 14 of us, probably something like that. And Brad had nachos the size of a Volkswagen in there on the table and everything else. Then he takes us out and he gives us all like $100 to gamble on craps table and everything else. I don't know if that happened or not.
It happened.
We were drinking a lot that evening.
Yeah.
A lot of adult
And Brad
beverages.
wasn't, because Brad's been
wasn't.
sober a long time. Because
Yeah.
he had decided to get sober and had been sober at that point in time for about 9 months.
Right.
And so, but we were imbibing.
Well, you and I, we can't be around each other and not enjoy a beverage
we
or
do.
two. Yeah.
And the weird thing about Rob's green room is, so Rob has I keep calling him Rob. I keep thinking of Rob and Robbie. Brad has in his green room, Brad Garrett, he's got this big apothecary table and cabinet with all the drawers in it.
Yep.
And every drawer you pull out has a different candy
Right.
in it. And so, like your sweet tarts, there'd be a full drawer of sweet tarts. You know, Sean's always eating the sweet tarts, the gummies, and the Rolos, and the whatever. I mean, there's just the drawer's completely full of these candies.
All the brown M&Ms.
I mean, they're just everything. You just pull out a drawer, and it's a surprise candy. It's in there. And then, you'd expect the green room to have some liquor in there. His doesn't really have any in there. But I was looking around, and really all he had was some gin. And I've never been a gin drinker. But I'm like, I'm going to drink. So I pour myself a little bit of gin. And that night I became a fan of gin. And so I started drinking the gin. And so I know it was a bad deal. It was a bad deal. Bad.
It was
Party
great,
foul,
though.
have you ever drank gin?
I've tried it, but I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. Look at that return right there, Party Foul. It looks like he's a little puppet like he's sitting on Mark's lap over there.
Hey.
And put your hand up there, Mark. Yeah. There it is. See, that's why you guys.
your
So
hand
you
down
guys,
here.
you have to. I keep telling everybody, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Facebook, but you've got to still go to where you can get podcasts. Look for the Chad Prather Show and hit subscribe. We want to be. We're currently number 156 in the world on the comedy category of podcast. Last year we got as high as 24 on all categories, and we kind of hovered around 155 to 175, which is still great out of all podcasts in the world. That's great. Trying to get back there again because we took a little time off. But yeah, anyway, so I tell people to go subscribe. But that was a fun night. That was a great story because you kind of get a glimpse of celebrity in that one. Here's a guy who's so gracious the way he was. And, of course, you had the drunks who were trying to kind of bombard the table. And they had wrapped our table with a velvet rope so people couldn't get there. Or they knew they weren't supposed to be there. And there was security watching our table. And so those guys would come in and kind of bombard. And he'd be like, yeah, just let them come on and take a picture. Let them come on and take a picture. And then it kind of got pushy as we were trying to get out of there. But he'd still stop even in the street and take pictures with people and stuff like that. He's a professional, and he's a gracious dude.
Super nice guy.
Super nice guy.
I mean, and you're right. That's you're the same way. That's who I want to be. The experiences like that with somebody of such a high celebrity.
Yeah.
You want them to. You don't want to. I mean, there's some people that you are going to meet that are just going to be a total jerk, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody that I've ever come across has been, gracious and nice and good to, any fans of theirs and everything else like that.
Is there anybody, do you have this philosophy? Like, I have this philosophy that there's some people that I really admire and respect that I'm afraid to meet them because I don't want to be disappointed. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I have, I never wanted to meet Merle Haggard because I'm afraid that I'd be disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, same for me. Like James McMurtry's a prime example. Yeah. One heck of a songwriter. A legend for sure. I've just heard he has his smarmy moments or whatever else. So I didn't want to. Yeah. I didn't want to go and shake his hand. Basically.
And I have met people who have been that way. That I'm still a fan of theirs, but I could. If I walked up to them, they would know who I was, and they might shake my hand. Yeah. But I don't want to be very close to them because I know how they are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one of those things where it's hard because you appreciate somebody for their art, but you also know the eccentricities. And one of the things that Jade and I have learned is that there's a reason why people are the way they are to a certain extent. And then people get really eccentric. Mm-hmm. Like, I've heard so many Dwight Yoakam stories who you have to admire as a artist, both as a musician as well as an actor. But like, our buddy Cody Johnson was doing a show. He was opening for Dwight Yoakam, and Dwight was supposed to be on stage at like 10:30. He was still sitting on a tarmac in a private jet at 9:30 in like California. And then when he got there, the bus was waiting on him, and there had to be five pepperoni pizzas waiting on him from Domino's, and they were all for him. No one else could touch any of the five. And I mean, there was no way he was eating all five of them. It's just weird stuff like that.
Does he weigh like 150 pounds? It's like,
I mean, it's just weird
like
stuff like that you hear those stories, and I'm like, that's, odd. you don't know how much of that's urban legend and myth
true.
and how much of it's real. You know, I've heard people tell me that Paul McCartney, like we did a show at the Tobin Center down in San Antonio a couple of years ago, and they said, yeah, Paul McCartney came through, and that was the instructions, as nobody could look him in the eye. And then I've been in other places, and they said, yeah, Paul McCartney came through, and he was the most gracious guy, met everybody. And so, you know, I choose to believe the good over the bad. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I went and saw Jack White 2 years ago.
He's a jerk.
Really?
I don't know.
And
We can start a rumor.
it was on the OU campus.
Mm-hmm.
And this was not the White Stripes, but Jack White and his band, right? And somebody had released his writer to the public, put it out on Facebook and everything else, and it went viral everywhere. And it's not the insanest writer of all time. I mean, for those of y'all that don't know, a writer is basically what musicians require if they're higher level. Not me, of course. Other than I told you I wanted a limo, but what the old stories about green M&Ms or brown M&Ms and things like that in the dressing room that they have to have and that kind of stuff. That's what that is. So anyway, somebody had leaked his writer out, and he got really, really mad about it and went on social media everywhere, started talking about everything else. Basically, it was just an exact recipe of guacamole was the main thing, and I think it was T-bone steaks and champagne. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary, whatever else. But the guacamole recipe in particular was really specific. And so before his show, a guy comes out from the curtains, and he has a bowl in his hand and some chips, and he's just eating guacamole in front of the microphone. And then this guy starts saying, "We've heard somebody was leaking our guacamole recipe to the public, and so we just wanted to come out here and say thank you to everybody and everything else." And it was a very like sarcastic kind of funny moment and everything else, but it was interesting to see how he handled it, you know.
Yeah. So we have a tour writer.
I'm putting it on Facebook right now.
We have a tour writer. I'm going to tell you how simple our tour writer is, okay? These are the things. I will list off the things that are on our tour writer, and Party Foul Steve will fill in the blanks. I wanted to keep my tour writer as simple as possible just because of these stories that get out there.
Yes.
So first thing, I asked for pretzels. I want pretzels. I want a jar of peanut butter, smooth peanut butter. I want a can of mixed nuts. All right. And then later on we added in a tray of sandwiches, so they can get them from anywhere. I don't care if it comes from Walmart. I don't care. Just a tray, just deli sandwiches. Then I asked for 2 clean towels, actual towels, napkins, of course, plates, forks, and glasses or whatever. I asked for a bottle of Jameson whiskey. We asked for ice. We asked for 9-volt batteries. We asked for Sharpie markers. And what else is there, Steve?
Fruit tray.
A fruit tray.
Mio water additive.
Mio water additive. And here is the frou-frou bougie thing that I asked for that makes me feel weird sometimes, but it's what I drink. I asked for Pellegrino water. Like, give me the little bottles of Pellegrino water, because it helps me stay away from the Diet Coke, which is an addiction. I can add the Mio water additive to the Pellegrino, and boom, there it is. So, I mean, there's a little bit freakiness to that. Like, we don't really need the peanut butter other than...
I've got a stockpile at home.
You don't have any allergies.
So here's why the peanut butter. So peanut butter is in case you just need a burst of energy. Right? Now, you added Red Bull.
I added sugar-free
Red Bull. You added that on there. Occasionally I might grab one. So see, like, we can get rid of the peanut butter, because if you need a burst of energy, you can grab you a spoonful of peanut butter and you can eat it. But what it's turned into is Steve stockpiling peanut butter.
I'm ready for the big one.
Yeah. I mean, he has. So I asked him, I said, do you have any Mio at your house? Because I drink a ton of that water additive stuff. Because drinking, you've heard me say it, drinking Pellegrino or sparkling water or club soda is like drinking the static off of a television set. It's nasty. You got to put a little flavor to it. So anyway, I was like, Steve, the other day, I said, Steve, will you bring me some Mio from the house? He brought me a gallon Ziploc bag full.
It's full.
I won't have to buy Mio for 6 months because he grabs it and takes it home with us. So anyway.
You don't ask for a spray tan on your rider?
No spray tan. No spray tan. I
imagine
do that in
right
the
now.
hotel room. I do that.
Oh,
I got a little Korean
We
girl
added
that
a
comes
fruit
in.
tray also.
I put on a little loincloth and she tells me, you turn now. You turn again. You turn. Okay, we're done.
We get our favorite whiskey and vodka also.
Well, we started when Vince is on the tour with us. Then we've started adding vodka because Vince is the vodka drinker. I just drink whiskey. And then Arthur gets mad at me. He's like, "Do you want to keep the whiskey on the tour, Ryder? Because I really want you to stop drinking." And I'm like, "Look, man, I don't get stupid. I just like to." He's like, but it makes the gout in your foot act up." These are the conversations we have, right? This is the stuff. So yeah, I mean, we got a tour rider, but my agent, he's like, "You need to beef up your tour rider. You need to ask for more stuff." And I'm like, "It's just
Ooh, let me help out with that one.
so jerkish, you know."
Let Bougie Sean help out with that one.
Bougie Sean, what do you want? So like, I'll tell you a true story that I know is true. Eddie Griffin, comedian Eddie Griffin, he asks for a brand new pair of Air Jordans at every show. So if he's doing 3 shows in the same city, those 3 nights he gets a new pair of Air Jordans in the deal. That's a lot.
He might have a bigger budget for his rider.
I'm sure you got a bigger budget for just about everything.
I was going to say, I try to keep ours within budget.
Well, we
unless
stay
you say,
well
hey,
within budget.
Yeah, I know, but you always just say, hey, can we add this, this, and this? And most of the time the venue will
they
do
will.
whatever we want.
I've heard the horror stories, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
We did a show in Oklahoma where they had L.A. Guns come in, and the lead singer, he goes, she had made her homemade marinara sauce. The venue, she was going to give them pasta with her homemade marinara. Well, he came in and he said, I'm sorry, no, she had made prime rib. She had made prime rib, and he said, I really want pasta with marinara. So she goes home and makes the marinara and brings it back. And after doing all of that, she comes back and he's like, yeah, I've decided to just eat what the band's eating. I'm going with the prime rib. I mean, like, that's when you want to strangle somebody.
Yeah, right.
That's what you But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's also a part of me that looks at it, and I know it's so foreign to a person's ears. You're traveling. You're on the road. You're out. I always say you don't really get paid to do the show. You get paid to do all the traveling.
Yeah.
And so when you're out there, you have to do what you can to give you some sense of normalcy for the things that you need to just adequately.
Comforts of home.
It kind of is. I mean, there is a strategic purpose for everything that's on our tour rider. But what kind of bougie stuff, Sean? What do you want to put on there?
Some kombucha to help with the flora.
But nobody drinks that kombucha crap.
Party foul drinks it.
Steve,
I drink it occasionally.
is it any good?
No.
That's
It's good for you. It's good for you.
Matter of fact.
It grows on you.
Like, I didn't know kombucha was a thing until you came around, Sean.
It's good for your gut.
It's good for your gut. Yeah, when we're traveling, it makes you feel, when you're on the road and.
Why do you think I eat hot wings?
I mean, we should have that on the rider because we literally eat wings every place we go.
It's true.
I would
we should
definitely
have
that on
wings.
there. Yeah.
Now, see, now y'all are gonna make me frou-frou.
Well, we don't have to do it though because we can still go get wings wherever. I don't mind that. But if it's just easy and it's there, we should have wings next to a fruit tray.
Willie, my agent, said we should beef up the rider and make us look bigger there, and I'm like, but
Perception.
well, I don't know. But your perception is only to the venue owner. I mean, the promoter is putting it in
But
there.
if somebody leaks it and they say, "This Chad Prather,"
And here I am
comes
thinking
in.
about putting out a sex tape.
There you go.
I mean, it made Kardashian what she is, so why not? Is anybody got
It's a
Ray
12
J's number?
second.
Who's got Ray J's number? I know he's not getting any play. I wonder if Ray J likes a cowboy.
I've never seen that tape before in my life.
There you go. It'll be a revival of the Village People. Man.
Do you have a boat you could relive Tommy and Pamela?
If we can get Pamela on, she got hepatitis C.
They got a cure for that.
Got a cure for that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, Robert, you staying busy?
Yes, sir.
You look busy. You do a good job with the social media stuff. Do you think you do?
Yeah, well,
I think you do.
I think I do okay. I could certainly use somebody to start doing that for me so I wouldn't have to deal with it. But that's
that's
still the life of the working musician with no management and anything else like that. It's it's a lot of juggling, all that stuff, but that's part of the job, though, And if you're gonna do the thing, then you got to do that stuff.
How long? When was the last time? What was your last record? How long ago has it been since it came out?
Daisy came out last year in August.
Yeah. Are you consistently always thinking about the next record or the next? You are.
I've literally got 4 records worth of songs right now to put together,
and that's why I said, because you're a songwriter. Like that's a whole other mind there.
For sure.
That's a whole other mind. Is it like every time you have a conversation or every time you hear a phrase or something like that, like, hey, that's a song?
I am hyper cognizant of conversations with people or a cliche that I'll hear on TV or whatever else, and I don't like to be too cliche, but sometimes there's a cliche that makes a song, and actually I should say a lot of times that a cliche will make a song, and you don't necessarily want to just make the entire song a bunch of cliches and everything else, but there's just sometimes something just works for something, and you go with it. Because I'm a songwriter that I like to write about everything. I'm writing about gunfires and bank robberies and obviously jaded relationships a lot. Or I finally wrote a happy love song just recently, like finally one, and I wasn't even in a relationship. But that's the only way that happens. Every songwriter out there will tell you the hardest thing to write about is when you're actually happy in love.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can write about cats and, dogs and and everything. Because that makes it more fun is to, be able to diversify everything and write about everything out there.
Yeah. For me, it's the power of story. And you're a good storyteller. Like, you know how to use song to tell a good story. And I always appreciate that. And we were talking... I was having a conversation recently with somebody. We were just talking about the good songwriters that I think are good storytellers. Your name came up, and there were a few others that did. And I think that the Fort Worth, Texas music scene has something to brag about, something to be proud of. I almost think that in many ways it outdoes, dare I say, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts
I totally
about
agree.
that?
I totally agree. And Fort Worth is slowly building its way to being that town that Austin has been on the map for forever, and you've got other places like L.A. and Seattle, and that there's some brilliant bands and brilliant songwriters coming out of, and I mean Cleveland, Ohio, or anywhere. There, songwriter is there everywhere, but the populace of good songwriters and musicians in Fort Worth is vast. And
I'm amazed so I stopped by yesterday, Jade and Brandon, we were going to go to a movie yesterday, and we were over at the movie tavern, and we stopped in at Fred's. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I looked out on the patio to see who was playing, because they've always got somebody out there playing on the patio, and I was looking at the calendar, and I was amazed at how many people are going to be playing there over the month. And I honestly only recognized about 5 or 6 artists. And I was like, it always amazes me how many artists there are in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And they're just everywhere. I mean, there's folks that and one of our favorite places historically, and mine currently, I'm assuming it's yours too, but like Magnolia Motor Lounge, those guys over there have done a heck of a job of consistently rolling artists through there. They've got very diverse calendar in the West 7th area, and there's so many of these little music venues that are around here. We mentioned Lola's earlier, and these different places that have built these stages and done a phenomenal job, and people take it for granted.
Oh yeah,
it's a great music scene. I've pissed them all off with my politics. I still consider all these guys friends, guys and gals. I piss them all off with all these liberal musicians that are out here that are crazy. They get mad at me because I make jokes about it, and I'm like, chill, don't worry about it.
Is this why I'm on your show? I'm the only one that loves you?
No, they all love me. They give me. Here's the thing: to know me is to love me. I can make jokes about politics and all these different things, or even state my convictions. They all get mad at me. They come back at me. They send me the messages and they tell me, I don't care. They know I love them. If they don't, then they should. If they don't know I love them, then they don't know me well enough.
Right.
But I have a blast with all of them. Who was it? Revis over at Magnolia Motor Lounge. He, Sean, he's a lib. He loves me. I had Jade came and picked me up at Magnolia a couple of weeks ago, and I left my jacket sitting there on the bar stool. And so Revis posted a picture. He said, "Don't tell Chad Prather, but a liberal's wearing his jacket." I mean, I thought it was great, dude. It was classic. He goes, "It's the first time a liberal's ever worn his coat." And no, I love all of it. I love the dialogue. I love the discussion. And that's kind of been the modus operandi of everything I've ever tried to accomplish.
It's humorous to me that people get so bent out of shape over
really
this
do.
stuff. And, I don't care what anybody's political opinion is. I just, I'm not going to lose friendships over politics
there's no point
and
in
stuff. Yeah.
No, I love that story. I don't know if you guys saw it. It happened a couple of weeks ago. Patton Oswalt, who's a comedian, and he was having that Twitter argument with a Trump supporter, and then he found out, here's this veteran who was having this really hard time, and he helped the guy out. I mean, come on. It's okay to disagree with each other. People have disagreed with each other forever. Mm-hmm. Even the people who claim to agree with each other disagree with each other. Yeah. It's okay. But they do get tore up over it.
Oh, yeah.
They really do. Like all of a sudden, I can't stand that person. Why? Just because you don't agree with everything that they think? I mean, they're not trying to murder you. Yeah. It's that's not that kind of thing. What were you going to say, Sean? You got fired up there for a second. I saw Sean's baby jump there in his womb. He got.
I don't know. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know what I classify myself as. Like, I don't want to go around saying I'm a liberal or conservative. I just live my life. It's
well, truth be told, I'm the same way. You know that about me. I'm
Yeah,
I'm not a Republican. I've never registered with a political party.
Yeah, I'm not registered either.
Never. I've always refused. I've turned down. I've had places that wanted me to come and speak to their organization. They say one of our requirements is you have to be a registered Republican, and I said, well,
what?
Then that's not the organization where I'm going to come speak because that's not the way I am. In truth, I'm more of, I consider myself, I guess, a libertarian because I don't care what you do. I just don't want you trying to pass legislation that forces me to do something.
Right.
I'm not going to try to pass legislation that forces you to do something. You take what's the hot topic right now? The pro-life thing. I've never been one who says that abortion should be illegal because I can't legislate what I consider morality. I can't do things like that. So while I hope that you choose life, I can't make you not. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. And so I've always said I don't care what drugs you use. I don't care who you sleep with. And anybody that knows me knows this. Because you can't legislate morality. And so many of our hotbed topics are just that. We're trying to legislate some idea of morality or something that we value or don't value. I don't care what you do. Mm-hmm. Rob, I don't care how many boyfriends you have.
2.
Two? At any given time?
Fighting them off with a stick,
God, you're a lover, not a fighter.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that about you, man.
I'm too hairy to have a boyfriend, man.
No, I don't know, man. It's like the old Dice Clay skit.
Isn't that like you're supposed to be all shaved and everything?
He's like, I don't know how a guy can look at a girl and then look at a hairy guy walking down the beach and go, oh yeah, I got to have me some of that. I don't know. Those two don't compute in my head. So anyway,
It's funny that you bring that up because just real quick, my mom was the chaperone for Miss Texas for 13 years. And this was during my adolescent years. So at any given time, I had 2-3 actual Miss Texases living in my house in the room next to me in my adolescent years. So you knew what I was doing in my bedroom, of course. But at any given time, there were constant hairdressers and wardrobe guys and makeup guys in the house all the time. And they are some of the funniest dudes I have ever met. And to this day, I've got just tons and tons of gay friends. I love those dudes, Sure. I'm 100% hetero, but I don't mind going to the crazy places and doing the thing.
I could tell you story after story. I'm the same way. I grew up with all the same story. I could tell the same story. Different circumstances, but same story. And to this day, I mean, we're going to do an episode of we're going to do an episode of Humor Me where I have all these friends who are homosexuals. I want to tell the what is it like to be an American and be a homosexual in America and the things you deal with, and versus the way it was thought of once upon a time versus the way people approach it today. And so I'm like, I just love everybody. I do. Our buddy Larry, what's musician for? There's the bandana around his head. Larry Hooper. Larry jumped my butt on Twitter because back whenever he was, and I love and respect Larry. He jumped my butt on Twitter because I made a joke. I said I appreciate all the Beto voters putting their signs out in my neighborhood because now I know where all the idiots live. And of course he was like, I wouldn't call you an idiot. I would call you a friend. I'm like, come on, dude. I make jokes for a living. It's it's that kind of thing. And so those guys wanted to turn it, Chad Prather, he's just somebody that stirs the pot for a living and makes money out. And I'm like, no, I just start conversations. And sometimes I do stir it up because for me it's fun. I just enjoy doing it and get it going. But it doesn't mean I love people any less. I mean, I still love you. I don't care how wrong you are. Doesn't matter. But it's just a funny thing. I mean, now everything is so micro aggressive. It's just can't joke with each other. Everybody's pissed off, but I just have a blast with it, man. And that's one of the things. The power of music is a great thing because it does bring people together.
Yep.
You don't go to a concert, and I think that's what gets people upset is they go to a concert and then it gets political from the stage or whatever. Like if that's what you're going into, that's one thing. But I think people go to those, they want to come together. Music is a great unifier, because let's face it, no matter where we come from, when we tell that story and you add music to it, it's one of those things where we realize we're all coming from, in many ways, the same struggle and perspective of life. It's a crazy deal. So
I agree.
It's a weird deal.
My brother is a somewhat famous celebrity chef. He won top chef. Mm-hmm. And he and I have that conversation all the time about the artistic format of music and creating music versus the same exact thing with food. Same kind of thing. Brings people together, puts people around the table together and that kind of stuff. And, they're both beautiful things. Art in general, same kind of thing.
Have you written any great songs? Have you written a great song lately, or do you have anything that you need to share with everybody?
Oh, are you asking me to play a song?
You got a guitar over there,
so I
mean, you might as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can adjust the microphone and everything.
Do you have anything in particular you want to hear?
No, I everything you do I like, so.
Goodness gracious. All right.
I dig it. Play a song. We'll get out of here. And I'm going to tell everybody one more time, go to blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. Sign up. You can watch all of Sean's handiwork. You get to watch everything that we do with me and Party Foul Steve and Jade, and even Brandon makes a cameo appearance every now and then.
Yeah.
If he backs that microphone up just a little bit, can it pick up?
Yeah, we can back it up.
Just back it up just a little bit, and it would get his vocal and the guitar, I would imagine. Yeah. What kind of guitar is that?
It is a Martin 00DB. They only made 260 of these. I got number 208, actually. I've had it for like 8 years.
No kidding.
That's my baby. Yeah.
No kidding.
All the songs are written on this one, and then they transfer over to other guitars and things like that.
Did I tell you about we were at John Rich's house, and he pulled down Merle Haggard's bus guitar, his songwriting bus guitar. Started listing off all the songs that Merle Haggard's written on that guitar, and now John owns it, and it's whoo! I mean, you sit there, and so John said, play me a song, and I'm holding that thing. So I did, Ella Warden, and so I was just, oh my God. Sing Me Back Home. I sang it on his guitar that he wrote it on, and
it still cracks me up.
I had chills.
You're friends with that dude of all people,
I know.
It's random. It's just
interesting
random,
cat, man. Yeah. Well, we just hung out on a bus one night. We were on his tour bus, and I was friends with Cowboy Troy for a long time.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah. Well, you were friends with Cowboy Troy.
Yeah, Cowboy Troy's my buddy, and so we were friends. And so I was at an event as a veterans support event, and they were playing at it. So wound up going out with the Nine Line Apparel guys because they were going to go out and visit with Big Kenny because Big Kenny's doing a business deal with Nine Line. And I didn't even know John was on the bus. He was back in the back getting ready. we hung out, and then the next thing I know, it's like almost we forgot there was a show that needed to happen. So they went out there and did that, and then we came back. And, I appreciate those guys. They're great businessmen.
Yeah.
Not just artists, but they're good businessmen. So it's been an interesting little connection. Yeah.
They've got one of the best line dancing songs of all time. I still don't understand the concept of line dancing.
Hate
but
it, despise
still,
it.
It still is what it is, man. And
They're still doing it.
yep. And when you got Steve Earle, Copperhead Road, how did that turn into a line dancing
One of the greatest
song?
songwriters of all time, a legend, Steve Earle, and his song Copperhead Road becomes a popular line dance. We were in Wichita Falls this last week, and that's what they were doing. They were doing all the line dances and stuff, and I'm like, it is really a horrible thing. I mean, like, no self-respecting man should be out there line dancing. And I'm like, bro, I know you're trying to pick up chicks, but it is the most anti-chick thing you can do.
Yes.
It's brutal. Party foul.
I didn't do a single one.
Oh, man, I thought surely you would be the line dancer of everybody.
Not since about 1991.
Sean was doing an imitation the other day of them line dancing. I was cracking up, man.
He does a nice high kick.
It's a weird scene for me to see, but I'll tell you that much. I wanted to run away from those bars.
Yeah. Choreographed walking. Every now and then a high kick and a clap.
High kick and a clap.
Yeah.
They looked so sad when they were doing it. Some of the women, they weren't happy. They were just shuffling
Trust me,
along
that's
the floor.
where sad women go to die is the line dance thing. So
The brush poppers and everything else.
all right, Rob, come on with it, brother. Give me something.
All right.
Play whatever's on your heart.
We were talking about Lubbock, weren't we? A little while ago? Yeah. And so I was in Lubbock one night at a show, and I was at the bar, went to the bar to get a beer real quick before the show, and there was about 5 girls standing at the bar right beside me. And one of them in particular was very cavalier about the fact that she had gained the freshman 15. And so as she was like just chugging Budweisers and doing shots and smoking cigarettes and everything else, and all her buddies were, I call them the woo girls, because you know, you're always in those places, woo, So anyway, she was cracking me up, and I was like, man, I got to party with this girl. And then I thought, nah, I'm going to go write a song about this girl. So I went back in the green room, and like 15 minutes later, this song came out. So this is called Freshman 15.
That's a gift.
Yeah.
Freshman 15.
This is meant to not be offensive to any ladies, by the way, of the Freshman 15 variety. It's just a fun little song.
Okay, I gained the freshman 15 on his last trip.
All right, here we go. She was born on a Sunday, raised in a First Baptist church. She never wears dresses, just blue jeans and concert merch. I love that line.
Great.
Sometimes she goes crazy and orders 2 shots and a beer. She might be a wild one, she might be a cavalier. She's crazy, the ladies all say. The freshman 15 she gained never went away. And now she's a bartender down at Blue Light. And that's where she might be tonight.
We know that
still
girl.
out of tune, too.
We know that girl.
Well, she tried out some yoga, but the pants didn't last for too long. She dances when I start to sing every verse of this song. She can raise hell and raise what is left of the dead. She might take a boy home and show him the way to her bed. It's funny, she says with a cough, freshman 15 she gained never came off. But she might get to sleep right before the daylight. She's gonna party tonight. You know when you start playing an out-of-tune guitar and you can't stop, so you just go with it?
Just go with it. I figured you down-tuned it anyway, so.
She doesn't smoke, unless when it's time for a drink. She has a drink every night beside her kitchen sink. She don't give a damn about what all her friends they might say. And she blows out a smoke ring and puts it out beside the ashtray. Tried to tell her that it was too late. That's a freshman 15, she gained is now 38. She might get to sleep right before the daylight. She's gonna party tonight. Well, her daddy was a pastor. You know what they say about them. Most preachers' daughters raise hell and rebel in the end. Well, she'll dress the part and show up every Sunday at 8. Throw all her tips from the night before into the plate. Yeah, she can cuss like a sailor, she's rather obscene. She don't give a damn about no freshman 15. She can care less if it's wrong or it's right. Do it all over tonight.
Rob Redwine, baby. I love it. That's awesome.
Thanks, y'all.
I'm telling you, a storyteller, dude. How can people find you?
The main website is www.robredwinemusic.com. But I'm out there on the YouTubes and Spotifys and the Instagrams and Facebooks and Twitter. I'm a big Twitterer too, like you are, and we're both joke makers on there. So
Absolutely. That's funny. I love that song. That's a chart topper right there, buddy. Yeah, I mean, you cut your little hell for it, but that's a chart topper.
Right.
That's one of those ones. If I put that song out, they'd be like, "How dare you talk about girls in yoga pants? You conservative schmuck." That's funny. What you got, Brandon? We'll tell you that. What's the freshman 50? We'll tell you. Anyway.
Wait a few years, you'll know.
Thank you, buddy, for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Yeah, you're always welcome. Always welcome. I love it. So, anyway, check him out, Rob Redwine. You can see him pretty much all over Fort Worth, and he tours all over the place, all over the country. He's all over but thank God he calls home right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, appreciate you, buddy, and I'm glad to call you friend. And always will. And we've had some adventures, and I got a feeling we're going to have a lot more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So for the Chad Prather Show, go subscribe, download the show, get on here. Check us out, Humor Me with Chad Prather on blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. And don't forget to tell your friends to not only listen to the podcast, rate, and review. Only 5 stars, by the way. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. God bless. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.